Morning, Devils fans. Woke up this morning to a day that ends in Y, which must mean that we won the game last night. I know it was a bit of a rough start to that one, but I'm not going to spend too much time on these guys. But Jack Toffoli line, if they continue to play like this, especially with Bratt on the just absolute bender that he has been having in the preseason, it's over for the league, guys. It's in the NHL. But the Holtz talk yesterday, I think Toffoli's the perfect match there, and oh lordy, the way those guys zip around the puck, it's crazy. Bratt is, I believe, top of the league in goals and points in the preseason. Jack is tied in second in assists and is right there in overall points as well. Our team on the whole, we are top two in both power play and penalty kill. Just firing on all cylinders. Not too unexpected. We're one of the deepest teams in the entire league. Even between the split squad games, I'm also going to say we haven't faced the craziest of competition. We've played Montreal, the Flyers twice, the Rangers, and now the Islanders. So it's not like we're playing cream of the crop. So, do take those statistics with a bit of a caveat. We are just so much higher class than basically all these other teams that we are playing. But still, you need to beat those lower class teams, and that's what we've been doing. So we are still on our 105 0-0 record that I have predicted since the very first game of the preseason, and I see no reason why that will not come to fruition still. To now actually focus on the guys that I think are the most important in these preseason games, it's going to be, I'm going to start off with the downside. They put together the Nosek, McLeod, Bastion line. I was actually expecting a decent amount from those guys as a potential fourth line. If Foot weren't to make the cut over Nosek, did not do very great. It didn't look very good. McLeod was not as dominant. I don't know if I really put that on Nosek at all. Bastion, I think, is still, again, getting his conditioning back and working his way in. You kind of saw it when he got beat along the walls, just not having the foot speed back with him quite yet, where he took the holding penalty. That's really going to happen when you just don't have your lungs. So not going to harp on them too much, but I really want to see in these last two preseason games Foot and Tyce Thompson, who again had a fairly okay game. I don't think he was as standout-ish as he was in previous preseason games. Continue to play well enough, especially when you're looking at him to take over a fourth line. He's doing pretty good. Again, I just want to continue to see looks from him. He's not waiver eligible, so he's either going through. I don't know if he has enough of a spotlight or name recognition to get picked up, but he's played well enough in preseason that I think there's definitely high enough risk there that you want to be very sure on who you're keeping on this main roster if you are going to risk sending him down. Our defense on the whole was, again, fairly abysmal. I mean, the two opening goals were not great. Ended up giving up, 5 in total? And then Schmidt also did not have the best of games. I mean, he had some really good saves, especially at the end there with the goalie pulled for the Islanders. But on the whole, he seemed to be chasing it a little bit. I don't know if that was just we were giving up some crazy chances because of the defense, or he just just had an off night, which is going to happen on occasion. Definitely not his best showing either. In the second and third period, they did put together the Luke and Nemec line, which absolutely cooked in the offensive zone and got absolutely cooked in the defensive zone. I was very high on Nemec coming in. I still think he looks really, really good. And I still hold the opinion that basically any other organization would have him starting opening night on their roster. But for us, even though Miller also had an abysmal game, Miller would get through waivers and would definitely get claimed, where Nemec is free to go back down. We can slide his contract. It just makes way too much sense. If Miller continues to be abysmal into the regular and through the regular season, I still think he is. We have that option of bringing Nemec up. And I think it's just better to let him get the top line minutes down in Utica. Let him continue to work on his defensive game, which the AHL is actually pretty decent for the young guys. They get a lot more time in the weight room in the AHL. Just a much less grueling schedule, a lot less travel as well. So it really lets them time to bulk up and get bigger, and also work on, again, like I said, the defensive side of the game, which is really all Nemec needs, because when he is on the offensive side of the ice, the guy looks fantastic. He just looks really, really good. We have something really good brewing there with him. So Luke, on the other hand, has continued to have a fairly, again, helter-skelter type game. Offensively, looks absolutely fantastic. QBing on the power play with Jack especially, he still very likely is going to be the second unit power first, but in the defensive zone, clearly has some stuff to work on. In this game, he was with Nemec for most of it. With both of them together in the D zone, it was pretty glaring, the issues this season. He is likely going to be with Marino, even at this point, just considering how good Ball continues to look. I don't want to touch on him too much more. I didn't think he had the most amazing game, but he still continues to play. So if we can shelter both Miller and Luke a bit, Miller can just purely focus defensive end. Luke can take over the offensive side, just better matchups on the third pairing, ease him in a bit more. I still think for the rest of preseason, we should just continue to throw Luke into the fire and let him learn and build from that. But come regular season, just knowing how NHL coaches are, seems pretty likely he will start on the third pair, at least up to this point. So now, to me, it really is just that fourth line of where we're going to be at. Is Bastian going to somehow start on IR? I mean, he is starting preseason games, so I don't know exactly how that works out. If not, then who is our healthy scratches or not? Because the no-sec line with those two, I don't think really any of them look that good. Lazar has looked really good, so I could see Lazar possibly taking that spot as a vet. Or does it come down to Foote really should be the guy there, and Tice having to knock the door down to make the opening night roster, even if it's as a healthy scratch as well. I don't think there was too many other guys I needed to touch on from this game. I don't need to really talk about, again, Jack, Bratt, Toffoli were dynamite. I mean, elite. Top of the league. Just say enough. And I'm going to really focus in on them come regular season. Preseason is just unnecessary, really, for that. And again, I'm not really going to focus on too much of the guys that are just not going to even have a shot at making the opening night roster. So I think that's really going to do it for tonight. I mean, the power play and penalty kill continue to cook. Our top line, NHL line, looks amazing. Our potential fourth line, McLeod, Bastian, and in this case, Nosek did not look good. Bastian, I'm trying to give a little bit of leeway to. McLeod has looked really great in the other games, and then Nosek just did not click on that line. So maybe Lazar, Foote, Thompson will get some playing time there in these last two games. Today, I believe there is a noon practice, so we should get some cuts again, I would assume. Get a good idea of who's going to start in these last two games. Maybe we'll get a much more full NHL lineup. Finally give an actual full top power play a look with Jack, Nico, Timo, Dougie, and then at this point I'm going to assume Bratt. I mean, maybe Toffoli over Timo. I don't know. We have too many good guys. It's kind of crazy. And then we just kind of, depending on who else is in the lineup, let the second unit cook with Luke. I would assume. I don't think there's too much else here from these games I wanted to touch on. Another preseason game come tomorrow, and I will be traveling yet again, but I should be home to actually watch this and have my full attention. This game on replay as well as while I was in transit for what I was doing yesterday. So I tried to pick up as much as I could. So not as much in-depth analysis on this game from me today. And yeah. I will see you all tomorrow morning, as always, and forever. Let's go Devils, baby.